Oh, conta. Let's talk about some nerdy shit. Today we're talking about a humble wall.
To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drop down my balls, till all these bitches crawl.
No, seriously. Specifically, cavity walls. Spouwmuren voor de Nederlanders. The brick sandwich that keeps you warm.
What are you?
These are walls with a hidden air gap between the inner and outer layer. Turns out that space is doing a lot more than just sitting there. A cavity wall is basically two walls with a little gap in between. There's an outer wall that you can see from the outside and an inner wall that faces the inside of your home. The small space between them, just a few centimeters wide, is called a cavity, or spouw in Dutch. That gap might seem minor, but it does a lot. It helps stop rain from soaking all the way through. It adds some insulation, and in many homes today, insulation is actually added into that cavity to better trap heat inside. Cavity walls have been around in the Netherlands for a while, as far back as the 1600s.
Now stand aside, worthy adversary. 'Tis but a scratch.
But they didn't really take off until the 1920s when people started building them to fix moisture issues. Before that, houses were often built with just a single solid wall, and rainwater could easily soak through the brick into the home.
Oh God, they trying to drown me in this hole. I cannot see. A nigga, goddamn.
By the 1960s, cavity walls became the new normal, standard for every new home. So how does it help with moisture? Rainwater can still get into the outer wall, especially through porous bricks, but the cavity keeps it from reaching the inner wall. Excess water is drained away through open stootvoegen, small vertical joints in the outer wall that let the wall breathe. What about insulation? People used to think the air gap alone added a lot of insulation. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. We now know that only cavity walls with actual insulation inside significantly improve your home's ability to keep heat in or out. Simple idea, big impact. That gap needs to breathe, so they added vents or left some vertical joints called stootvoegen open to let air in and out. Here's why and when you want cavity ventilation. Your outer wall is painted with non-breathable dampdichte paint. You've got glazed bricks or ones that don't let moisture escape. You're dealing with moisture on your inner walls. Your wall has doorgedrongen regenwater, aka serious leaks.
No, I went under the awning. It's still raining. Why is it still raining?
And the cavity is full of junk or cement blobs that connect both walls and trap moisture. In all honesty, you should always just ventilate your cavity walls. Also, not all vents in your walls are for cavity ventilation. Many are for your crawl space or whole house airflow. So don't go sealing every grill you see. If you're insulating a cavity wall and you do need ventilation, make sure there's still a bit of space left between the insulation and the outer wall, around 40 millimeters. That way air can still move around. To make sure both wall layers stay together, metal ties called spouwankers are placed between them. These also help hold the insulation in place. If the wall separates two homes, a special anchored-less version is used for better sound insulation. An empty cavity does something, but not much. Filling it with insulation makes a big difference. These days there are a ton of options: rock wool, glass wool, foam boards, eco materials like hemp, weed, or sheep's wool, or even thin reflective foil panels. Most new homes now get 100 to 240 millimeters of insulation depending on the build. There's a video on insulation on the channel if you're interested. It's linked above and in the description below. If your home was built before the mid-70s, it might not have insulation at all. The good news, you can still add it. The better news, there's government support for it, so you can get a subsidy. The catch, if there are bats living in the cavity, you need a special permit before doing any work. No, seriously, it's a protected species thing. Some older homes were insulated with foam that breaks down over time. If that's the case, it needs to be removed before adding anything new, usually by taking out a few bricks and vacuuming the old stuff out. The insulation level is measured with something called an RC value, technically just R value. RC value is used for the R value of the entire wall assembly, but you also have RD value, and that's just the R value of one of the components of the wall assembly. For example, the lazy man's approach to making sure that your wall meets the minimum R value is to make sure the RD value of your chosen insulation meets the minimum or more. More is better, but you can overdo it. Dutch regulation, aka the BBL, requires you to have, for the outer shell of your home, a minimum R value of 3.7 for floors, 4.7 for walls, and 6.3 for roofs. This is for new construction. For renovation, the minimum R values are 2.6 for floors, 1.4 for walls, and 2.1 for roofs. But for major renovations, meaning more than 25% of the area of the outer shell is going to be renovated, then you have to comply with the minimum R value for new construction. Again, just make sure that the RD value of your insulation meets the minimum and you'll be fine. If you have space issues in the room you're renovating, then you can calculate the RC value of the entire wall assembly to reduce the insulation thickness, giving you more interior space when renovating. Most of the times you still want to put the insulation on the outside, but there are some specific cases where you're going to renovate from the inside. If you didn't understand what I just said, don't worry, your architect and engineer are there for you. So yeah, your walls might seem simple, but between moisture protection, insulation, and the occasional bad tenant, there's more going on than you think. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope I gave you guys an appreciation for the brick sandwich we call the humble cavity wall, spouwmuren for the Nederlanders, and thank you for watching. Till next time.